Electroplating by Jay and Jack. Why? People experiment and use electroplating for one main reason. By electroplating, you are giving a metal an ability it did not have before. So when you are electroplating, you are giving, let's say, copper that you're electroplating. You're giving it, let's say you're using zinc to electroplate copper. You're giving copper a property that zinc has and that copper doesn't have, maybe to increase its connectivity with maybe to increase its electric connectivity, or to enhance its protection of corrosion, or there's many examples, and this photo is an example of uh, mass production electroplating. What industries is it used in? It's used in three main industries that I narrowed it down to: manufacturing of electric parts, as art, and in the aerospace industry. So manufacturing of electronic parts, like I said before, it's going to help maybe connectivity or corrosion protection, which I will talk about later. Then as art, it creates beautiful pieces of art and creates a nice contrast between materials, which is very beautiful. And it's used in the aerospace industry. And the two main things that it's used for is resistance to extreme temperatures and enhanced corrosion protection. So resistance to extreme temperatures. So let's say you are flying from Florida to like Iceland or something. When you first are on the ground, let's say it's really, really hot, right? So that's an extreme temperature of hot. Well, when it rises to its altitude level, it's going to be very, very cold, the extreme temperatures. And these, by electroplating, you are creating a protection around that temperature. So it gets destroyed less easier, if that makes sense. And then enhanced corrosion protection. So it's going to make it harder for corrosion to apply on the parts. And some of these parts will have, or like maybe some properties that you can put onto pieces of metal in an airplane can reduce corrosion because that metal does not corrode. The science of electroplating. So electroplating is started with three main components: electrolyte, which is just a fancy word of saying water and salt; terminals, which are also known as anode and cathode, and will be referred later on in the presentation; and then the battery. So with these three main components, you create the complete circuit. So science of electroplating part 2. After the electricity starts running through the circuit, the process begins, right? So the electricity from the battery has the most effect on the electrolyte solution, which is the water and the salt. It causes the electrolyte atoms to split up, causing the electrodes to split up and attach to a terminal. So by these electrolyte atoms splitting up, it causes the electrodes to split up and attach to a terminal. So if we're using copper and zinc again, and we're trying to plate copper, then when this runs through, the atoms and the electrolytes are going to split up, which causes the electrodes to split up. And then that is going to cause some of the electrodes from the zinc to come to the copper and create a thin layer of atoms on the outside of the metal.